Welcome back for our discussion with Dr. Samantha Joy. And as you saw in the Black and Blue documentary, a big part of the research mission included students. Among those, Chastity Mann, an undergraduate student right here at the University of Georgia. Tell me more about the role of students in the research and how important it was.
Well, you can't do a cruise like this successfully unless you have dedicated students helping out. And I was really lucky because everybody on the cruise just worked so hard. And Chastity was amazing. I mean, she had just started working in the lab, it was weeks before the oil spill happened. And when the cruise came around, she was one, I talked to a couple of my graduate students, and then, Chastity was in the lab, and I said, I want you to come on the cruise. And she looked at me and said, "You do?" And I said, "Yeah, I do." And she said something along the lines of, "Well, I'm there, I'm going." And she's fearless, and she's so enthusiastic and so smart and works so hard. I'm trying to recruit her for grad school. I don't want her to leave for 6 or 7 years. That's how good she is. So I really hope she stays. But there are a lot of kids like that at UGA, and I've been fortunate to have quite a few of them in my lab over the years. But she's really a special one. She's talented, and she's just got a great attitude. It's hard to be at sea, and you lose sleep. It's a lot of pressure. You can't, it's a situation where you've got one chance to do it right. You can't mess up. Making a mistake is really not an option when you're at sea. And she just did an amazing job handling the pressure and just doing an outstanding job under difficult circumstances. And
yet she was in a live workshop for real. I mean, this wasn't just a class, this was the real deal.
And that's one of the things she told me. She said, I've taken all these classes, and it's always been kind of abstract. Oh yeah, this chemistry does that, and that organism does that. And she said, just seeing it all come together in a way that meant so much, that's what research experience is about. And that's why I think every kid that's taking science classes, even if you're not a science major, I just think it's such a great opportunity to have an experience like that. It changes your life. I think it changed her life.
We're going to go back to our questions now. An upstream viewer wants to know if BP is doing anything to prepare for marsh rehab, like replanting grasses and such. Your thoughts on that?
I think they definitely are. I know there's an amazing team of scientists in Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida, who are all involved in managing the marsh issues. If the grasses need to be replanted, that'll certainly be done. I know they're trying to, the first thing they're trying is to keep oil, minimize the input of oil to these delicate ecosystems. But when they do get contaminated with oil, they're going in there and they're cleaning, blade by blade of grass if need be.
Another question that came in is, do you feel that access to information about the spill is being limited?
Well, I think in a way, yes, but that's not to limit the information. The idea is to make sure that the correct information gets transmitted to everybody. And as a scientist, it's very uncomfortable for me to sit up here and talk about data that aren't published yet, because sort of publication is the gold star and everybody approves of it, and then you can talk about it. And I think that's why there's a bit of a lag on getting data and having it released publicly, because they want to make sure that the data is accurate and the interpretation is correct.
Got another caller with a question. I'm going to reinterpret it a little bit. Let's ask, what effect do oil fumes have on the atmosphere and the people who have to work around it? We've got about a minute to finish.
Yeah, well, they definitely have an effect. The biggest issues are the aromatic hydrocarbons, the benzenes, naphthalenes, things like that, because they have a lot of you have lots of medical side effects with those compounds. So when you work out there, you wear respirators when you're outside, and there's a simple little meter. Well, it's not simple, but it's small. There's a meter that you can take with you out on the deck of ship, for this example, and it'll ping. It makes a big red alarm, goes off if the concentration of those dangerous gases are too high. So you then put your respirator on.
And in the last few seconds we have, in really short time, what happens next? Have we seen the worst, or is the worst still to come?
I think there are two issues. One is, pray that the relief wells work, and hope that this relieves the pressure and reduces the flow coming out of the main well casing. And that's really where that's the next step, is can we contain this and stop it? And then once you stop it, the issue is evaluating the ecosystem impacts and in every part of the system, coastal and open ocean. And that's what's going to take, the next 6 to 8 months for us to do.
And unfortunately, we're out of time for this part of the program. We're going to have to get back with you again. Dr. Samantha Joy, thank you so much for your time. And of course, we'll be following your research and upcoming mission in the days ahead. I'm Ray Matoyer, and for all of us here at WNEG and the University of Georgia, you have a great night.
This program has been sponsored in part by Heart EMC, Chick Music, Clyde Armory, and Golden Pantry Food Stores. Thank you for joining us for this special presentation on WNEG TV. We are Northeast Georgia.